compound matters, the USS Gerald R. Ford has been at sea for nearly 300 days, tying the modern-era record set by the Nimtitz-Class aircraft carrier USS Abraham Lincoln in 2020. If the Pentagon extends Ford's deployment, it will surpass the all-time record set during the Vietnam War by the iconic USS Midway. In fact, that looks certain. The key point to remember in all this is that Ford's crew has been underway for almost a year and has had to endure one complication after another. All while on the front lines of a war in which Iran's anti-ship ballistic missiles, ASBMs, and drones have made those large US carriers tempting targets of opportunity. Initially, the Ford was redeployed from the Venezuelan operation to the Middle East because it was the newest, most advanced carrier in the fleet. The Trump administration wanted to demonstrate to the world that our carrier capabilities were second to none. The Ford was positioned off the coast of Israel ahead of the US and Israeli airstrikes against Iran on February 28th. In fact, the carrier conducted flight operations against Iranian targets. Because the Ford was not ready for major combat operations before it was pushed out of the shipyards, its combat deployment to the Mideast, one of many deployments over a seemingly interminable period for its crew, was a humiliating experience after another. Even after the horrific laundry fire forced the Ford back to port, first in Greece and then in Croatia, everyone assumed the beleaguered crew of the humiliated ship would finally get a much-needed break. Instead, after a brief stay in port, the Ford was sent back to the Middle East. The Nimtitz-Class USS George H.W. Bush has been deployed to relieve the Ford. Sadly, the George H.W. Bush is being directed to navigate around the southern tip of Africa out of an abundance of caution, thereby ensuring that the Ford remains on station in the Middle East for an even longer period. This is not only a nightmare for the crew, which has been deployed for more than 10 months, but also catastrophic for routine maintenance. The Ford is essentially a highly complex machine that endures severe wear and tear. It requires constant maintenance, upgrades, and overall upkeep to keep it running. By deferring maintenance on the carrier for as long as possible, even though it is the newest in the fleet, the Navy is ensuring that small problems could become severe ones. Given the maintenance complications, the weakness of US naval shipyards, the backlog, and the fact that aircraft carrier maintenance is among the most demanding operations for US shipyards, the USS Gerald R. Ford will eventually be unusable for up to 2 years while she recovers, as I see it. That's the price of a massive amount of deferred maintenance and repair. The US Navy is stretching its most important warships to the breaking point to sustain global commitments amid a multi-theater conflict. Even its newest, most advanced carrier is not immune to the ravages of overextension. And the US is not even in a near-peer conflict, yet. That the Navy is exhausting its biggest assets in what amounts to a peripheral war against an unconventional foe, while America's near-peer rivals, notably China, continue to build up, underscores the Navy's vulnerability. Under current conditions, there is simply no way the US Navy could conceivably last in a high-tempo, near-peer conflict with an adversary like China. That's not necessarily because the US Navy isn't as good as the Chinese Navy. It's simply because the Navy is overextended, its systems are overburdened, the defense industrial base cannot keep up, and the crews are exhausted. These are the makings of a real strategic defeat on the high seas. Washington has been warned. They are on notice, but they have not taken notice.